Hey, what's up, guys? ColbyCheeZe here, and I'm going to be doing my podcast. It's going to be somewhat of a short one today. Just have a few things to go over, a few things that I found on the internet, and just some topics from the patch and my thoughts on how it's going so far. So the first thing I actually wanted to show off was just how the patch is going so far. I think that with Ziggs out now, I've been seeing a lot of people say, oh man, Ziggs really strong, but at the same time I've heard some people say that they've seen a lot of Ziggs failing and not doing so well, and this is kind of what I was expecting. So some people just get it, they get the hang of it, and they're able to land all of his skill shots and do a lot of damage with him, and that's the way he's designed. And then a lot of people are not able to pick up on that, and they're not able to deal with the positioning on him, and they just get taken out and are not very contributive to the team environment. So anyways, I don't think he's OP to the point where people are going to ban him over other champions such as Ari or Morgana and things like that. So he's not better than those champions necessarily, although he can do quite a lot of work. He's got a big amount of burst, and so I think that's what people are really worried about right now, is they're like, oh man, he just bursts me down so fast. But if you think about it, a lot of other champions can do the same thing as well, and so I'm not sure yet. I don't know if they're going to nerf him. I wouldn't say that right away. His ultimate is definitely really strong. That's one thing that's really good about him, although he still falls off late game, because whenever you have one really bursty spell that's on a high cooldown like that and you're defined around that, then once people get a lot of resist and stuff, you're not as effective later on. Okay, so I still haven't really seen people using the new items so much. I still don't think I've seen anyone use them, actually, to be perfectly honest. So not really sure if people have just caught on to it yet, or if we'll even see those being used at all. That's pretty much all I got to say about it until I see some people using it. I guess I haven't really had a chance to watch any other streams from Hyelo yet, so I don't know if any Hyelo people are catching on that. Maybe you guys will have to catch me up on that, since I personally haven't been seeing it as well. I've only seen like one Jax. He didn't seem too problematic for me with his new changes. I still haven't got a chance to try him out yet, but I do plan on playing him a little bit, and I also want to try out a little bit of Victor now that they changed him. I think in my last podcast I forgot to mention the changes to him, but it does sound like they've helped him out quite a bit. They've given him a quicker speed on the projectile for his power transfer, and one problem with the power transfer before was the fact that it was so slow. You'd shoot it out, and then it would take so long to get your shield back that it was pretty much not that useful at all. So they've increased that dramatically, and then they've also given him a basically half the duration or the amount of time it takes for somebody to get stunned by his little stun area thing. So that should be a little bit easier for people to actually land that, as before it was really difficult to get that in there. And as far as Lee Sin is concerned, he still seems just as strong. I'm guessing that his DPS is lowered a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not to a noticeable standard. If he jumps on you, you're still going to get destroyed by that sort of a gank. So I think that he's just fine. Haven't seen really any problem with Sivir. I played a little bit of Sivir today in ranked games, and she was just as good. So overall, fairly decent patch. Mainly just the new champion. And so that's pretty cool. As far as the bots, I've heard that they are actually more difficult in Dominion now, because they have a lot better focus in fights. They're still not like super smart in the Summoner's Rift mode yet, but that's just, that's to be expected. It's really hard to program some bots around that. I imagine that they are a little bit better based on your skill level, but there's only so much you can go through there. By the way, if you're wondering why I don't have gameplay footage in the background today, it's because, well, I can't really. It's because the replays are not working right now. So unfortunately, LoL replay is broken. I think that you can record your games, but you just can't watch them because they bug out a whole lot. So that is unfortunate that LoL replay is not working. I do have a video for you guys to check out, so this is pretty cool. Let me show this to you. Let me pause my music and switch over to my screen, and you guys can check it out. So just a bit. So this has been going on for a little bit of time now. It's called the 1v1 mid song by Cody, and he does these pretty well. Actually, I'll be perfectly honest. I thought some of the past ones were not that great, but this one I thought was really good, so I was going to just jump in and show you some of it.
Knowing I'm slicing through your skin, even if it's made of stone. You're unsophisticated, driven by force that you can't contain it. It's very easy to see it in me that the root your style has been wasted. You let the path of the strongest and the chosen. And I'm not battling with you, nah, I'm against the meta golem.
Put me to the test and I'll show you what it's really like. You might have been my master, but I'll show you how to really fight. As a jungler, you could be a bit more. The only thing you're good for is running around the back door. Just stop it. Your stature's making me look bad. People know you're useless. Then see.
So anyways, I thought that was a pretty good one. You guys should definitely check it out on Player POV. And I'll put a link here into the chat as well as in the description on YouTube. So you guys can take a look at that later on. And yeah, should be good. Should be good. So let me jump back over here. I also found a really cool playlist of all the League of Legends dances. If you guys are ever curious like what the dance is from, there's a cool playlist, so I'll link the playlist as well for you guys. And the playlist shows you like whose dance is from what. So for example, let me show you. This is the Janna one, so it's from this video here, Jazz Funk Dance Studio. So there's that one, and then if you go to the next in the playlist, right now there's like 20 of them, I think. So I imagine, or like 32, I guess. So they're still working on some of them, but you can take a look at here, and they're pretty cool. They're all the same. They got a line down the middle, and it'll show you the champion on one side and where the dance is from on the other. I like the Kog'Maw one. That's pretty cool. It's like the little frog. Anyways, so I thought you guys might like that resource. Something pretty cool. So another thing that I found interesting was that on Twitter today, Ginsu actually mentioned that he's got some Karma changes in the works. So you can look forward to that. Karma's going to be getting, and it doesn't say exactly what, but let me see. On Twitter, the exact message that he wrote was that a new Karma kit is proposed, and everyone seems to like the changes, and he's excited about it. So I imagine that if we continue to watch the forums, we'll get some updates about that, and we'll see how that's coming along. Last thing that I wanted to show you guys was an article that Forbes magazine on their website put up, and they interviewed Carmac. If you don't know who that is, it's one of the guys from IEM. He does a lot of like troll interviews and stuff like that, but he's a big part of the IEM, and it's a pretty long interview. It's like 3 pages long, but it goes through and it talks about a lot of the the thoughts behind the growing esports scene and stuff like that. I think you guys should take a look at it. It's a good read. Talks about how the prize money has grown significantly and how Europe is such a huge audience, and then America is actually starting to pick up pace and catching up with Europe in terms of how popular it is. One cool stat that I read from it is that actually they're actually 20% of the total views. So America has 20% of the total views for all the esports stuff that IEM does, which just shows how big Europe is into the esports scene and how much America has to grow into that. But they're definitely getting there, and that's grown quite significantly since the last couple of years for sure. As far as the rest of the article, I don't know off the top of my head. I have to go in and look at it, but it's just talking about the different expansion of it and things like that. So if you're interested in esports, it's a good read. That's all I've got for today. As far as the podcast is concerned, like I said, just a short one, and I'll hopefully be able to do these every day or two based on what I have to talk about. And yeah, I'll see you guys around for the next podcast, and thanks for listening. Peace out. Oh, and if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that like button, and yeah, that's it.